And does online really represent an opportunity for you in terms of a way to innovate your pedagogy? Some of your programs could be decades old and being taught in a similar face-to-face fashion over that time. Does online represent a way for you to advance your pedagogy, which would then have a positive impact upon the outcomes that you're sending your graduates into the workforce with it? And lastly would be your competitors. Now these can simply be other institutions within your region or even nationally when we start to talk about online, your national competitors. But also think about your competitors as also being professional associations. If you think about the different industries that some of your graduates will be entering in, some of them have rather strong professional associations that look to offer non-credit continuing education for those individuals, and then your prospects are equally considering these competitors as well as you in terms of how they're looking to advance to their next level in their career. Do they look towards these professional associations for education, or do they look back towards you, the higher education, for these different opportunities? So each of these constituents aren't necessarily an island unto themselves. They are all interlocked. So your prospects are evaluating you and your competitors, and you should be keeping an eye on both your prospects and also your competitors, as your competitors keep an eye on you and also their prospects. So everyone's accountable to everyone else. Everyone should be keeping an eye on everyone else because you're all operating within this same market space. So starting off, looking at your own institutional assets. So what are you bringing to the table when you're talking about launching an online program? Well, taking a step back, not just looking specifically at the program you're looking to launch, but just looking at you as a provider and what you're bringing to the space. So I challenge you to almost literally make a list of your internal assets and what's unique about you and how you can look to differentiate yourselves from all the other online competitors within the space currently. So if you look at your institution, and some of your institutions have been around for 50 or 100 plus years, you have a long and rich history of traditions and experiences that your alumni walk away from your institution with. So if you take and look at those experiences and those traditions and start to think about how you can take those assets that you have, and how you can translate that into an online space for your prospective online students. Your prospective online students are choosing you for multiple reasons. From our recently completed online college student survey, we know one of the top reasons online students choose their institution is because of their reputation. Now, reputation is a very broad and vague term, but you can think of it almost as being that they're choosing you because they want to be associated with this particular brand or this particular set of traditions or experiences. So they're aware of what goes on the campus, what has been going on over the history of the institution, and they want to be associated with that. So rather than just bringing your next program online and just keep adding more and more programs, also think about the experience and how you can translate that and to really tie and bring value to these online students, and then equally being able to communicate that value through your messaging in order to attract additional online students. Also look at your faculty. Your faculty are experts within their particular field and within their industry. So if you look at your faculty and you know which particular programs are high performing at your institution, and talking to those faculty and engaging them and having them think about online delivery. Also relying upon those faculty for perhaps ideas, not just for programs, but for future concentrations and specializations that can help you take advantage of changing market dynamics within your region. So for example, I know in some states there is a call for teachers that are instructing students with autism to have an additional certification or a set of qualifications. So if your education faculty are aware of this and are able to bring it to your attention, then you could perhaps look to include those types of coursework in your future online education programs. So you could be ahead of the curve there, anticipating that future demand and relying upon your faculty as the experts that they are to help you bring those types of changes and additions to your programs. Your faculty obviously also could have connections to local businesses and industries, obviously helping place graduated students into those particular jobs. So perhaps they can help you foster different employer partnerships to also enhance, the skills and the programs that you're bringing online. And finally, looking at your internal structure as well. So looking specifically at the different services that you're providing your campus students and what they find value in, and how those equally can be brought to the online market space. So if you are particularly known for different mentorships or student advising, how you can bring those experiences to your online students as well, because all those services will equally be relied upon, if not even more so, with your online students than your typical campus face-to-face students. It's really taking a stock in all those different aspects of your campus, even before you even start to go down the path of specifically launching a specific program. So once you do have a set of assets that you're looking to communicate, then the question becomes, how do you best go about putting those out there when you're looking to attract different students online? So what I wanted to play was two different commercials for you. Both are from different for-profit institutions, and I specifically chose them because I wanted to bring to your attention that these particular commercials are out there. They're being run by large national for-profit brands, and although you may not directly feel that you're competing with these institutions, some of you may feel that way, some of you may not. I just wanted to bring these different ads to light because I really thought what these for-profit institutions are doing quite well in the space is their marketing. They're taking different assets that they have with their institution, some of them really mirroring assets that you have as nonprofit institutions, and they're strongly messaging them out to their prospective online audience. So I thought these would be good different commercials for you to look at and really then pick apart in a very detailed way and perhaps learn or take something away from them that you could perhaps try to put together with your different marketing that you try to do. Well, it doesn't seem like these particular ads want to play right now. We're having an issue with it. Emily, if you want to just keep trying, maybe it'll come on. If not, I'll just keep talking. In the lower corner there, you'll actually see the URL. I put that there just in case, so you can perhaps look at them after this webinar. But this particular ad is one from Grand Canyon University. Now, Grand Canyon University, some of you may or may not know, was actually founded as a private Christian nonprofit institution some years ago. They fell on some hard times and were eventually acquired by a for-profit entity that went and transformed the focus of the campus from being a primarily face-to-face one to one that is majority online. So they really grew their online presence, but at the same time as they were growing their online students and their online experiences, there were also these investors were investing in the campus that is in Phoenix, Arizona. What they did was they added some more buildings, they added more athletic fields, they spruced up the grounds with the grass and the trees and all that, and they really put a lot of money into that. One, to grow their face-to-face population, but I can easily tell you that over 90+% of Grand Canyon students are not on that campus, so it's really a small percent there. But what they did was they put a lot of money into that campus because they realized it was an asset that they particularly had. They had what looked to be a traditional nonprofit campus, probably similar to many of you on the phone there, what you have. You have your greens, you have your buildings, and you have classrooms with faculty and students in them. So what they did in this particular ad is there's really no voiceover except at the very end, and what they do is go through a number of different images, a lot of different aerial shots of that campus, and they show all the different buildings, and then they also show athletic events, and they show the student union with students sitting around reading their books, and they also show within the classrooms faculty interacting with different students and having different hands-on experiences with the students. So they show someone in in a science lab, with an instructor doing an experiment and whatnot. And really only at the very end do you see the tagline, which is Grand Canyon University, a private Christian education with the affordability of a public education. And then they say that you can access these programs, one online or also face-to-face in their campus in Phoenix. So what I really enjoyed about that ad and what I wanted to show you was that the majority of Grand Canyon students are online, but they're really strongly messaging this nonprofit attributes that they have at their disposal: the campus students, the faculty, and whatnot. So, do you have the video?
We do.
Great. Let's see if it plays.
Go on.
So just as I said, a lot of different aerial shots of the campus, really showing off all the buildings and that are located there in Phoenix, where 9 out of 10 Grand Canyon students will never see or visit, but yet they feel that they're connected to a physical place, a spot on a map that they can point to, a set of buildings, a set of actual faculty members, which many of them will never possibly meet, but they somehow know it's there and they can connect to it. Also, Grand Canyon still putting out the message that they are a private Christian institution, so bringing it back to their mission. If you believe in the Christian faith, so do we. We align with your values, you align with our values and our mission. Also, you see there the interactions with the faculty members. What this is really symbolizing is that you're not necessarily, even though you're an online student, you don't necessarily have to feel that you're on your own, you're learning on your own. We have these engaging faculty members there, to assist you with your education. And then in the end, they really tie it all up together with that ultimate outcome, the graduation ceremony. So just because you're earning your degree online doesn't mean you don't necessarily get a graduation ceremony. Obviously, you would have to go out to Phoenix for it, but they're still putting that image out there that, one, this is the end goal that you're looking to attain, and two, although you're learning your degree online, it doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have, actual graduation ceremonies and so forth. And only at the very end, this last 10 seconds that we've paused it on here, talking that this is available to you at an affordable tuition similar to that of a public, and it's available online or in person in Phoenix. So really only at the end they bring it to this notion of online. But by this point, they already supposedly hooked you in with all the other imagery that came before this. Off the top one. Okay. Just bring them all up. So so here, what we just talked about, obviously is what you really have to emphasize. What makes you unique and what your students will get out of attending your institution for their particular degree. So one, that you have a physical campus in the community. That's something that you can emphasize. That you are a physical place that's near them, that they can earn their degree online with. They don't necessarily have to look to a national online provider for an online MBA program because you have one in their particular community. Second, tying it back to what you value, your mission. Your mission has been driving your institution for the last 50 or 100 plus years. So really taking that and trying to translate that to drive your online enrollment and your online experiences that your students will get as well. So Grand Canyon, that's them tying it back to that private Christian education. That's what they were founded on all those years ago, and even though that they are an online institution, that's still what they're trying to bring back today, is tying it back to that mission. The student-oriented experiences, those are those images that we saw with the interactions with the different faculty members, that, and also the shots of of people at the different sporting events or walking across the campus. Those are all things that individuals value and they look forward to in their higher education experience. But obviously, with online learners, they realize that they don't necessarily have the time for all that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't value it just as much as they would if they were able to attend on campus. And lastly, and maybe even most importantly, is outcomes. So what's the end goal? What is the output that they're going to get, the ROI, for spending their time and their money at your institution? For Grand Canyon, that's that graduation ceremony that they're talking about. And the next ad that we'll play is one from the University of Phoenix. Emily, you want to bring that one up? With this particular one, that I really wanted to show it was that it really ties all this together, of pushing beyond the words value, flexibility, and convenience. It's right off the beginning of the commercial. They state that as an online learner, you deserve more than just flexibility and convenience. And then they start to talk about what they as an institution can provide you, and also also in this particular spot, talking about the outcomes that their graduates have been able to achieve. So if you are able to attend their particular online programs, these are what you can expect to experience as a student and also as a graduate of their institution. The terms flexible and convenience have become the most overused words to describe online education over the last 15 years. Online education has been around for, depending how you want to count it, 15 odd years, and it's been described at the start as flexible and convenient, and now 15 years later it's still being described exactly the same. This Phoenix ad goes beyond that and really tries to push the conversation a little bit beyond that, and that's why I wanted to show this particular spot to you.
If you're looking to go to school, you deserve more than just flexibility and convenience. So here are a few reasons to choose University of Phoenix. Our average class size is only 14 students. Our financial tools help you make smart choices about how to pay for school. Our faculty have on average over 16 years of field experience. We'll help you build a personal career plan. We build programs based on what employers are looking for. Our football team is always undefeated, and leading companies are interested in our graduates. We'll even help you decorate your new office. Okay, let's get to work.
So with that particular ad, as I said, it really tries to push beyond that term flexibility and convenience and really advance that conversation a little bit. So, and those numbers that they put out there, they're unique to University of Phoenix. Those are their particular stats and their particular numbers. All your institutions have your own, stats numbers that you can put out there, and then that may also allow students weighing your programs against others to even do a little bit of homework on their own and try to, compare some of those numbers if they find value in them in terms of the number of years experience that the faculty members have in their field, or if they have a terminal degree in their field, or if, the size of the particular classroom, if they're worried that there are going to be too many students in it and enough personalized interaction. Those are all different things that students can weigh, but right now they don't necessarily have all the data in front of them to do so. So this particular ad is looking to put some of that data out there and maybe try to start a little bit of a conversation, with their prospective students. So then moving on to the students themselves, who are they? So who are you looking to serve with your online programs? A way to evaluate that is taking a look at some external factors that weigh into the region that you're operating within. We talk about the regional economy. So which industries are growing, which industries are struggling currently? Are there a set of workers that have been recently put out of their jobs that maybe need some new skills or some retooling that you can particularly target? Maybe there's a particular industry that's really poised for growth in your region that you're aware of, and there may be a shortage in terms of qualified candidates to fill those positions. That one way you can decide which programs you should be moving forward with. Looking again at regulations, as I talked about a little earlier, with perhaps additional qualifications to teach students with autistic disorders. Is that something that you can particularly take advantage of, or are there particular regulations that are coming down that may hamper a particular industry or set of occupations in your region? And again, there could be people with need to change careers in the near future. And also shifting demographics. So if you're looking at say, particular demographics in terms of age of student, if you know that there's going to be a decrease in the percent of the population that is in that 18 to 22-year-old age bracket, meaning that there's going to be less of those students to go around with your traditional institutions, then you may be able to then forecast that the online market in your particular region might start to become increasingly crowded as some of these institutions start to look towards those adult students, those online students, to fill some of those missed seats in their classroom. So that's just some different ways you can keep track of what's going on within your region and how you can best respond to it. So looking at student motivations. So online students, obviously, even though I tried to say before, pushing beyond that flexible convenience words, they are still looking for that nonetheless. They are going online because they don't necessarily have the time to go to your campus and sit in your classroom at set lecture times. They do this because they have a mix of life issues and also employment issues that are very intertwined within their lives, and each student having to weigh these factors out differently. So at home, they may be taking care of their parents, they may have children, they may be single parents, they may be just entering in the workforce and realizing that they need a degree in order to really advance themselves. So on that employment side, they may be in a job where they want to change their careers. They may be recently laid off and need a new set of skills. They may realize that they need another degree or maybe a certificate to get themselves a pay increase or a promotion. And all these different factors are weighing upon them, and really creates a unique set of circumstances for each student, and why they may turn towards online education, and equally why they may look towards higher ed in order to gain that next set of skills or credential to help them advance their lives. Again, our online college student survey that we recently completed generally found that students are seeking a regional school, 70% of them looking for an institution within 100 miles of their physical location, with a strong reputation, which I talked about a little earlier, a vague term, but one that you can tie back towards the different values that you possess with your institutional assets, and where they can easily transfer credit. A lot of these online students are coming with past credits, either from other institutions, past degree attempts, maybe life experiences, that they may need a prior learning assessment. Some of them might be coming out of the military and have, different military, credits that they're looking to transfer into their program. So really, looking to complete their degree in a short period of time as possible, and also for a lower cost, so being able to bring those credits in, so not being able to take coursework that they already technically have paid for.
Andrew, we have a question.
Sure.
With most students, or with 70% of students wanting to live within 100 miles, how important is a residency requirement?
Residency requirements, again, if you look, what we're just talking about with those mix of life issues and employment issues, I feel that students are looking for low residency requirement as possible. They do value your campus and your campus assets, but again, the reason they're going to your institution online is because they feel they don't necessarily have the time in order to complete that type of work. I think that's more so maybe at the undergraduate level, where at the graduate level and the doctoral level, I think there is a certain understanding that some programs may require a short residency, such as with a doctoral program, perhaps having you come in to do some sort of defense of your dissertation. I think those are kind of understood. If there is a residency requirement for your particular program, you should be well communicated up front with the students, so they are aware of that before they go down the path too far with you. And also the purpose of that residency requirement should be really to provide value to that student that they can't somehow get through the online experience. So don't just do a residency requirement because you feel that students should come to campus for some reason. Really have it because they're going to experience something or get something out of their program that they wouldn't just be able to get through the online learning. So this is when we start to talk about hybrid programs. There is no, technically the definition of a hybrid program, that's something that's 1% to 79% online delivery. There really is no real set guidelines to what would constitute a hybrid program. So if you think about with that there is no real set definition for a hybrid program, then really thinking about why you would want to make that program hybrid and what a student would value and get out of that program that they wouldn't get out of a 100% online program. Any other questions, Emily?
Yes. Are there any examples of traditional colleges who have launched online programs and had great success recruiting a large student body within their region or the 100-mile radius? Most of the online success stories this person is aware of are beyond the 100-mile radius.
Someone who's been able to recruit primarily within a 100-mile radius of their institution. One example I would think of, it's one, you're having success within that 100-mile radius, and really the reason that I wanted to bring that up to you was that is when you're starting your online programs, you should really focus within that 100-mile radius to start with, because 70% of your students will come from within that particular region. Once you feel that you've really done quite well in that region, dominated that region, owned that particular region, your brand is really the strongest provider within that region, then you can start to look beyond that. So I think of an example such as maybe like a St. Leo University, where they really they probably started off within that radius, and then they really became a dominant provider within that radius, and that's when they started to look beyond that. So that's why today you look at, say, a St. Leo, and their radius probably extends almost to cover the entire southeast region. They didn't start off looking at the entire southeast region. They probably started off looking more locally. They target specifically military students to start with. They really grew that way, and then were able to expand their brand outside of that. So currently today, I don't want to call out too many specific institutions, but it's really those that are kind of starting in the marketplace, or really trying to grow within the marketplace, that we really suggest that 100-mile radius to start with, and just to really set expectations at a realistic level. That if you start your online programs, you don't have to start buying national ad time. You don't have to start, if you're based in Kentucky, you don't have to start buying billboards in Washington State, because your program, although it's delivered online, can reach students there. So it's really understanding that your traditional footprint and expanding a little beyond that traditional footprint is really where you should start, and really where you should start to really really start to grow, because that's where your brand is the strongest, and you're going to see the best success with that. So this is, again, a little more on that 100-mile radius that we were just talking with. So the example that I want to go into now is, I just picked San Jose State University just as an institution that I'm sure many of us know the name of. Maybe you don't know too much about them specifically. So I wanted to use them as an example. So here's a 100-mile radius drawn around San Jose. And you can see within that radius, they hit a number of different metropolitan areas. They have Sacramento, San Francisco, Oakland, all falling within there, so a major population center there. And within this particular region, I would instruct them to really look at the number of institutions that are falling within this radius, really understand what if any online programs are being offered within this radius, and also looking at the labor trends and the employers within this radius. And this is where you're going to start to put together some of those custom data sets that I talked about a little earlier. So looking within this 100-mile area, what industries are growing, what are the labor trends, and who are providing programs online within this area. So with San Jose State University, if we were to take some stock in their assets, we would learn that right near them is the Silicon Valley, and their particular tagline is that they are powering the Silicon Valley. So if you look at San Jose State and you know the Silicon Valley, and you know that they are doing one of their larger programs is the software engineering programs, perhaps we can start to think about, should San Jose State University start to offer a master's program in software engineering online? Does it play to their institutional strengths as being a program that, you know, it does have that tech focus? You know, they are situated quite closely to one of the tech centers of the United States and also the entire world, the Silicon Valley, and it is one of their higher performing programs at both the bachelor's and the master's level. So if we decide that that's the program we're going to look at for those particular reasons, then we can start to pull some other data around it. So this is from 100 miles around San Jose State, the occupational projections for different jobs in computer software engineering. So if we start to look at this, you can see that you know, you look at the percent change over time. So how much are these occupations supposed to grow over the next you know, 5 to 10 years? You can see that some of them are growing at, you know, 19 to 24%. We know within the 100-mile radius around San Jose State that the average occupation is supposed to grow around 9%. So strong, healthy growth here. So that's a positive sign. We can look at the average annual openings. So how many openings are supposed to be in these careers each year on average? You see that number is around 3,000. So what you can also do is then look at the number of degrees being conferred within the area and do a little ratio to decide is there an oversupply in terms of the number of degrees being provided compared to the average openings, occupational openings, or is there actually a gap there where there are a larger number of openings than degrees being supplied? And perhaps, you know, going online would be one way to help fill that gap. We also can see here that the educational requirements, so typically these software engineering occupations require a bachelor's degree. We're talking about offering a master's degree. So are there opportunities for software engineers to earn a master's degree and advance in their particular careers, or is a master's degree considered unnecessary in terms of advancements? Well, one way to do that would be to talk to some employers in the region. So we talked to some employers in the region, and we found out that one of the most common job openings in the Silicon Valley are for software engineers. They do have a need for additional software engineers there, but they don't just necessarily need you know, one with you know, strong IT skills. They need some with some business skills, specifically around project management and leadership and personnel management. So although they're looking to hire software engineers, they're really ones that would stand out, would possess some of these additional business skills. So you as a you know, provider of the degree, if you're building this online program, perhaps you can consider adding some business courses to that program to make those students more employable upon graduation. So really thinking about the outcomes. Can you use this online program to innovate what you're currently doing with your ground program and add additional skills to make stronger outcomes for your graduates? We also know that in interviewing some employees within the Silicon Valley, that some of those individuals you know, do hold bachelor's degrees currently, and they would consider a master's degree if they wanted to advance themselves, but not a software engineering master's degree. They were thinking more along the lines of an MBA, because they also realized that they already have these software engineering skills. They want to build business skills. So a business program that they're looking for would be an MBA. So this is another cause for concern. Maybe the program you're considering should be more of an IT-focused MBA program rather than the software engineering program. So another thing to think about, how is your program going to best align to your regional market needs? Just because your top program is a software engineering program, maybe that's not the best fit for the needs of this particular region at this point in time. So all things to keep in mind. The graph below the table there is from Indeed.com. Indeed.com is a job postings website, and it allows you to go and search some key terms and see how often those terms showed up in job postings over the last few years. So from 2006 to I think early 2013, that's how often the term software engineering showed up in different job postings. So you can see there really was a peak there around 2009, and then a slight leveling off, and then a recent decline there. So another thing to think about is, if you are talking to those regional employers, really maybe finding out what the trends have been over the last few years in terms of their hiring practices. But we do know from the interviews that we conducted that that they did feel there was still a need for these qualified individuals. So moving on to competition. So who are you competing against for these different programs? I would direct you to the National Center for Education and Statistics, NCES website, specifically the one that holds the Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data System, or IPEDS. There are two real sources on this particular site that you can use in order to build a customized set of your competitors and also monitor their conformant trends over time. So to start off with, going to the College Navigator, this is a very user-friendly portion of the site where you can simply type in your zip code, select your radius, and you can see all the different institutions that are within that radius around you. You can select a 50-mile or 100-mile or even beyond that. So you could set that to the 100-mile radius that we talked about and see who's in there. From there, you would then have to go to those individual schools' websites, and you can start to put together the data set with whether or not they're offering any programs online, and if so, what are they offering. And then from there, when you start to pick what programs you want to launch, you can then go even further with that and start to see how they're messaging and marketing their particular online programs if you feel they'll be competing against yours. When you do select a specific program, you can then go to the iPads portion of the site. Now, the iPads portion of the site is not really user-friendly, but if you are able to really figure it out, or you have someone on your staff that can really manipulate databases, this would be a great area for them, because within here, all Title IV institutions are required to report in a number of different data points each year, one of them being the number of degrees they're conferring in specific fields. So within here, you have the ability to go in and look up master's level software engineering and see how many degrees were conferred by each institution conferring that degree going back a number of years. So for here, if we were to pull that, we have our competitor list from College Navigator for around San Jose State. We pulled those 100-mile competitors, and then we crossed that against those that were conferring master's level software engineering degrees. We would be able to look at a graph similar to this. So, sure. One
quick question, Andrew. The graph from Indeed.com,
yes.
Where on the website can somebody generate a graph like that?
It's either on the top bar or all the way on the bottom. There should be a button that is marked Trends, I believe. I haven't been on that site for a couple of weeks, so it escapes me. I think it's called Trends or something similar to Trends, and then it brings up an example of the graph, and there should be a little search box above it, and then you can type in something like software engineering. If you want, you can try to do software engineering in a particular state and see if that would perhaps customize it a little bit more for you. Does it say, Emily?
It's Trends.
I was right, it's Trends. It's on the bottom bar, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's on the bottom bar. So if you go to Indeed.com, though, you can also use it. You can also use the main functionality of the site, which is to search for different jobs near your area, and you can actually see then the absolute number of jobs, and then you can actually read those job posts and see what they're looking for in terms of degrees and skills. So you can use that site a number of different ways when you're thinking about putting together a specific program. And that's where that process is a little more manual because you're going to each individual job posting, but I've still done that in the past to really find new and different skills for some degree programs that are more up and coming. So specifically in, say, the IT fields, where it's always ever changing in terms of the different programming languages and skill sets that they're looking for to hire with. So back to the particular graph here. Now this graph is not from Indeed, it's from the IPEDS data. So the blue bars will represent the absolute number of degrees conferred at the master's level in software engineering within 100 miles of San Jose State. So going all the way from 0 to 2003, peaking in 2009 at 402. The orange line there is the regional growth, change year over year. Obviously, starting from zero, you're going to see some really erratic growth patterns there, but then you start to see that it starts around 2006, the orange line starts to mimic the black line. The black line is the growth nationally change year over year. So you can see that from 2006 to 2011, that black line and the orange line almost start to mirror each other. So you see here that after it peaked in 2009, goes to 2010, there was a steep drop-off there. So that's one area where you could start to have, maybe have some concerns for this particular program, maybe something worth investigating. Why would there be such a sharp drop-off there? With iPads, you generate typically an Excel file. So in an Excel file, you can go down there and you can see who are the largest competitors and how they've been trending over this time. Looking at this Excel file, you would find out that within 100 miles of San Jose State, there were 3 competitors that make up these blue bars over time. San Jose State being by far the largest provider of this program. In 2011, they conferred just over 200 degrees out of the 233 that were conferred, so over 95% market share. So they are the dominant provider within their region. Also out of iPads, you would also see, nationally what was going on. And you would also see that San Jose State is in the top 2 or 3 providers nationally of this particular program. So not only do they dominate their region, they're also a large national player here, which begs the question, is this program even perhaps worth marketing beyond this 100-mile region? So, but for this sake, we would just focus on the 100-mile region, 3 providers, San Jose State being the most dominant. So with that, this drop-off here from 2009, 2010, it may be worth talking to your faculty again to understand, or maybe even your enrollment counselors, why there would be such a drop-off there. Was there something with the program? Was it, just the candidate pool coming in those particular years? What happened to cause such a steep drop-off there?
Andrew, we have a question.
Sure.
Does iPads differentiate online degrees conferred, and do you recommend looking at online degrees conferred or all degrees conferred for a specific program that you're targeting online?
Currently, iPads does not separate out online from on-ground. They are putting in a variable supposedly this year that would tell you if some of the conferments came via distance. But you aren't actually able to separate those 2 out. Also, if you go to College Navigator, and you look up a specific institution, you can pull a drop-down tab that shows some of their conferment statistics by different fields, and those numbers will have a small d next to them if some of those conferments came via distance. But you can't separate, you don't know if that's 1 distance student and 99 ground students, or 99 online students and 1 face-to-face student. So unfortunately, at this time, you can't separate that out. There's no really reliable way of separating that out. There are some consulting firms that will attempt to size these different markets, but again, those are all just estimates, and it's very hard to find solid numbers. Also, if you think about what is an online student, that can differ by institution, so even the definitions around some of these terms can be vague and then make it additionally harder to size. I would, when I'm looking at the providers there, and I do know that some of them are online, because I went to their site and looked it up, I wouldn't necessarily discount the face-to-face providers, though, because some of those providers can have stronger brands in a particular field. So if you look at this example with San Jose State, if one of those other 2 providers in their region offered their program online, how successful would it be against San Jose State? San Jose State obviously has a much stronger brand in the field, and just because that program is online doesn't mean that it isn't competing against that stronger regional entity and their face-to-face program. So I wouldn't disregard the face-to-face conferrals when looking at online programs. So a little more on competition. So once you decide who your competitors are, you can do a SWOT analysis, both for yourselves and your competitors. SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Is strengths and weaknesses I usually apply specifically to the institution. So what are you bringing to the table, and where can you improve? The opportunities and threats are more talking about the region. What's going on in those external factors that can be weighing in. So with this example, San Jose State, they are the top provider, they have the strongest brand, and we also know from their website that they are willing to innovate in terms of different pedagogy. But perhaps not everyone is on board with online learning. We don't know if the software engineering faculty are open to delivering their program online. It is a flagship program at the institution. There may be some hesitancy to put your flagship program online right out the gate. Maybe they're open to doing a different version of the program, but still want to protect that their flagship program. Also, what happened with that recent downtrend that we saw in the iPad scrap? What was going on there? Is that something we should be concerned with? The opportunities and threats. Opportunity would be an early online adopter. We know that regionally, none of those 3 programs are offered online, so they can be the first to the market with the online program. They have ties to the Silicon Valley, so perhaps there is some employer partnership opportunities there to be worth setting up. Threats, speed to market, so maybe if they rush too quickly, there's an opportunity to bring a poor product to market. We don't know about for-profit competition at this point. Do any of them have a program online? If say they see San Jose State launch their program and San Jose State has a measure of success, will the for-profits come down the road and try to eat into that market share? How can they combine against it? It's really the big elephant in the room. Is this even the right program? Is the MBA the true degree here, given the feedback that we received from the employers and the employees within the Silicon Valley area? For competitors, the other 2 schools there, they have few strengths. They're much smaller than San Jose, and they may not have the best brand. And they'll always be playing catch-up to them. Even if they offer their program online, it will be a long time before they would even reach those 200 conferral areas, just because they do have a weaker brand, and they are just that far behind San Jose State at this point. The opportunities and threats, if you see here, are exactly what I had on the other slide, because these competitors are in the same region as San Jose State, so the same opportunities and threats that San Jose State has, so do their competitors. They easily can be an early online adopter. They can easily reach out to employers in the area and try to set up partnerships. They equally have to be worried about for-profits and bringing something to market too quickly. So what about those for-profits? There are plenty of sharks in the sea. So if you look at these top national providers of online programs, there are 8 of them that I have listed here. You really have to, when you put together those that competitor list within the 100-mile radius of yourselves, you have to throw these schools in there as well. There's an estimated number of 3 million online students in the U.S. currently, and that's individuals earning 80% or more of their degree online. So not really those taking just one online course. Out of those 3 million online students, 1 in 4 of them is attending one of these 8 institutions. That's all for-profit. That's just these 8 that I have on the slide. So it's definitely worth throwing these schools in your online competitor list, just because even though you may not directly feel you're competing with these institutions, on some level you are, because 1 in 4 students is picking them over you. Just quickly looking at these, I believe Ashford has a physical campus. Grand Canyon does, but the majority here are almost 100% online institutions. So they don't even have that asset to really play upon in terms of their marketing. But it's not just the for-profits to keep an eye on. There are also innovative entrepreneurial nonprofits that have large growth goals on their mind. Liberty University is the largest nonprofit online institution. Southern New Hampshire is developing those competency-based programs that they're looking to grow their market with. They're also doing national television ads. UMBC targets the military, so they have a strong presence within that marketplace. And Western Governors is a competency-based institution. Now they're 100% online. Their offices are out of Salt Lake City, but they've actually been invited into different states by either the governors or the legislature to offer online programs to their state residents. So the state government is actually bringing in this online competitor. So if you're in the states of Washington, Indiana, or Texas right now, your state government asked Western Governors to come in and instruct some of your residents online. So very aggressive nonprofits as well to keep an eye upon. They have a far smaller market share than the for-profits, but obviously they do have growth on their minds currently. So it's your goal, to bring the conversation back to the local value. So what is your institution doing in terms of their impact in your local and regional market? Why should someone choose your institution over one of those national online providers? Well, the reason is because they don't have to go far to find online programs. you're there, you're in their community, you've been educating individuals for a number of years, and you're actually having a positive impact in the community. They can be a part of that, and they don't have to look to another state or to a national provider in order to earn their particular degree online. And you're the known local brand. They can drive past your institution. If they have a problem with one of their courses, they can just walk to your campus and get that resolved. They may not ever do that, but it's also that sense and that security blanket that they have there. So really, taking what we talked about earlier, those institutional assets, and really playing that up and encouraging them to look locally rather than nationally for their program. So just a quick summary. Some of the most successful online programs that we see are ones that are playing strongly to institutional brands and their areas of expertise. Using those different experiences to differentiate yourself from both the local, regional, and national online competition. So what is unique about your institution? What values do you have that students are going to look to buy into? And how is that different from the provider down the road or across the country? We talked about putting together some tools, specifically using iPads and NCES to construct a regional competitor list, throwing in some of those for-profit and larger nonprofit institutions as well, using that to keep track of what programs are being offered online in your region and how you can perhaps do something a little different there. And also talking about those custom labor data sets as well, so you know what's going on within different industries within your region, and then using those two data sources to think about strategically what programs you can bring to the online marketplace. It's a quick set of some extra resources. That online college student survey that I told you about is available free on our website there. Also on our website we have a resource center with similar best practices webinars like this one that you can listen to for free, and we also have a blog that if you're not subscribed to, you should. That also talks about online market trends and best practices, and other sources I cited today. Those are the URLs for iPads, BLS, ONET, which is another labor source, and Indeed. So Emily, do you have any additional questions, or if someone wants to raise their hand?
I am sure that some of you out there have at least one question. Maybe, why is our blog so great? How can I subscribe? Anything at all. Oh, it looks like we do have a question on the phone. Pamela, you are live, but I think we already answered your question about where to find the online college student survey.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay, great. Anybody else?
You can chat questions as well if you don't want to actually talk over the phone. So the online college student survey, while we wait for people if they want to ask something, that particular report, we've done it for 2 years now, so there's 2 versions of it on there. You can look over both of them. That's where we got the 100-mile radius information. Also, it talks about popular fields of study, and it also talks about some marketing questions as well in terms of what they're looking for providers and programs, and there's some demographics in there as well. So it's a very good free resource for you to look at.
Plymouth State University, do you have a question? Scott, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the website for researching the other institutions' programs.
Sure. So the slide I have up now, I would direct you towards the first link under the Open Resources header, so the ncs.ed.gov/iPads. So that particular site, there's 2 different links I would tell you to go to once you get to that site. One is the College Navigator, and the other one is the iPads data set itself. Under College Navigator, you would simply go in, you can put in your zip code, and you can select the radius, and you can see all the different providers, higher ed providers within that radius. From there, it's a little bit of a manual process because you would actually have to go through that list and then go to those different institution sites to see what programs they have online or not. Within iPads, what you're able to do is see the size of those programs. So you may know that that the school down the road has a software engineering program, but you don't know if they have 5 students or 500 students. The iPad's data system would be able to tell you that. It would help you size that program, and then with that information, you can determine how large of a competitor they may be within your region. Some schools obviously have stronger brands in different areas than others, which is why San Jose State is probably one of the strongest software engineering providers, but maybe have a far fewer conferrals in political science.
Robert Heron has a question. Robert, you are live. You should be able to talk.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Just fine.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I looked on your website as we were preparing for this, and I saw that you guys offer kind of curriculum, looks like curriculum build, and noticed the expose on Grace College. How does that curriculum development build process work in conjunction with universities?
You know what, we should probably have, can you contact?
Robert, we're going to have somebody from our curriculum department talk to you because we don't want to give you...
It's pretty custom to
Yeah.
how you want to run your, or how the faculty for that course wants to run. They have recommendations on sort of best practices, but our curriculum development is very custom to whether you want to start with our library and customize it, or if you've got a course content you want to bring online. There's just a lot of different options depending on the needs of that particular faculty or of your institution. So it'd probably be better to understand your situation specifically.
Fair enough. That's something we can look into. I was kind of curious, just with some of the programs that you do most curriculum development for or with. I mean, the ones that most universities kind of are using you all to build. Does that question make sense?
I think so, but I don't think I have that particular level of information at this time. So I think it would be better for someone from our curriculum department to reach out to you and perhaps answer some of those questions. My particular tracking of the space has really been through these different surveys and whatnot, and not necessarily looking at our own curriculum department there.
Yeah, could you please email one of my faculty to reach out to him to talk to him about this? It's bepperson at okwu.edu.
Okay, we will make sure we do that.
I appreciate that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Emily?
It doesn't look like it. I do want to remind everybody that these slides will be emailed out within 24 hours, and we're going to have a recording available on the website within a week. And you can reach out to Andrew directly at amagda@learninghouse.com.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope this has been helpful.
Thank you.